This is the tire that came off the right rear of the Greg Sachs automobile. I'd asked J.C. Elder on the green flag what was wrong with his car. He said the car's a little bit loose. Folks, when we talk about blistered tires, this is exactly what we're talking about. The rubber comes off the tire. It blisters, it comes off the tire. Greg Sachs got lucky. He rode on this tire until the caution flag came out. He was able to make a pit stop for free. He's now leading the race. Some days you're hot, some days you're not.
Benny, a car that is not leading right now, but doing an excellent job. It's Mike Waltrip. We've seen the car on the screen, the Cushion Time Lemonade Pontiac. Now, Mike Waltrip was 4 laps down. He is the fastest thing on the racetrack right now. The crews have been clocking him at a little over 17.5 seconds a lap. He has now made up 3 laps and is being shown 1 lap down as he moves beneath the Mark Martin car in turn 2. Mike Waltrip really on the move. Should get interesting with our in-car camera if he makes this lap up and runs for the win here in the last 100 laps.
Shown in 15th position. Michael Waltrip in a crash. Dick Trickle spins in turn number 3 at just about the same point that Phil Parsons did a few laps ago. So this will bring out caution number 16, and we have a new record for number of cautions at Bristol International Raceway, and now we're only 1 away from tying the all-time yellow flag mark set at Martinsville a few years ago. There's Trickle in the number 84 car, who was running in the top 5 earlier in the day.
Apparently, he just spun around. Doesn't appear to be too much damage to his Miller Buick. So he'll bring it into the pits and let him check it over.
He was 9th before the spin. Now brings it in, and they'll check the car over. Probably change tires, at least on the right side. There it is, the record number of cautions for Bristol Raceway, 16 today, and we've still got 125 laps to go in this one. We're at lap 375.
Now, those folks who have early flights, they got to be getting worried about it right now.
And yours truly is among them.
Sorry about that, Bob.
Okay, Trickle roars back out of the racetrack, gives the fans an opportunity to get up on their feet and scream the Valleydale 500 with Greg Sachs in car number 88 leading the parade down the backstretch. Right behind him, though, is that car that we talked about a few minutes ago, Michael Waltrip in the country time number 30, right now being challenged by the 66 of Rick Mast as they square off going into turn number 2. Now, Michael is going to be caught in that high groove and may lose a couple of spots here. He is again trying to make up 1 more lap. He has only 1 more to make up before he'll be on the lead lap.
Doesn't seem to be running quite as fast now as he was a little bit earlier in the race, Bob.
Almost acts like he had the tire going down. He went straight past the 66 car right on the green flag, and now he's falling back, losing a lot of position. Yeah,
it looked like under the caution that the Goodyear was almost rubbed off with the right front tire of the car, and he had gotten in a little bit of a scramble on the restart prior to this, and he might have the tire going down.
Second place in the race is the 33 car driven by Harry Gant. Meanwhile, here's Bill Elliott, Jim Sauter, 21 of Neil Bonnet, Jeff Bodine is there. So is the 84 car of Dick Trickle, as the number 9 car of Elliott is well within the top 10. There's Mark Martin right ahead of Bill now in the number 6 car of Colson for the race.
Rick Wilson going back into the pit. He was in for an extended stay. Now he's back in the pits once again. So it's not been a good day for him and his team, which is located just only about 10 miles from the speedway here.
Mark Martin in 6th position in car 6. Then Bill Elliott. Then Jim Sauter. And the 21 of Neil Bonnet. Look at the damage on that car. A lot of paint missing on the left side. Neil, remember, is a lap down. He's shown in 15th position. Is not battling for position within this group. The number 5 car of Jeff Bodine is, however.
You know, Jeff Bodine, you watch him, some points in the race, he was just fast as could be. And now it looks like he's almost settled in kind of a wait-and-see deal. Well, if I charge to the front and caution comes out, I lose everything I gain. Why don't I just sit here for another 20 or 30 laps and kind of wait and see what happens?
Plus the fact, Gary, he's still on the Hoosier tires, and there have been some cars with trouble with those tires this afternoon, so he might be just sort of cooling it with those. Now, in about 11 more laps, if he stays on the Hoosiers, that's what he's going to have to finish the race on. the last 100 laps, they have to run whatever tires they have on at that point.
Here's another record that we have broken today. Number of lead changes, 26. Unbelievable. Not only have we broken that, there's Jim Sauter going to the inside of the number 9 car of Bill Elliott and picking up a position. Elliott, it seemed, just again got a little high on the racetrack, and that was all that Jim Sauter needed.
You know, when they talked to Ernie Elliott in the pit area, he said that maybe Bill's wrist is bothering him, and I would think that maybe that would be the case.
Look at Jim Sauter. He is really moving in that car number 31. Here's Bill Elliott now trying to take the measure of Mark Martin, and Jeff Bodine comes right along with him. Jim Sauter, though, you can see, has pulled away from Elliott, just passed him a lap or two ago, and has just pulled away from him. That car is really running here today.
Without question, the finest run that this car has ever had. He did have a top 10 finish earlier this year at Rockingham, and he also had a top 20 finish at Darlington just last weekend in 19th. But Jim Sauter from the seat of Wisconsin giving that Slender U Pontiac a real run. Now, here is Greg Sachs, the leader in 88, feeling some pressure from Alan Kulwicki in 7 and Dale Earnhardt in number 3. But remember, those cars are not on the lead lap. Second place car is the 4th in line there, Harry Gant.
Yeah, Gant got behind as a result of the pit stop. Now he's pitting on the front stretch. Greg Sachs was pitting on the back stretch. Greg got out first, and now Gant has worked his way back up to second.
And we had a position change just a second ago as the number 94 car of Sterling Marlin went into 4th, dropping Rusty Wallace in 27 back to 5th. And the number 94 car of Marlin is catching the 16 car of Larry Pearson.
That 94 car of Sterling Marlin looks like it has that long run setup. You know, it doesn't take off early and after the restarts, but after they're done on the track a while, the 94 car starts picking them off and moving up. He's probably hoping for a long stretch of green here where he can get up to the front. Some of these other cars, they jump away real quick on the restart, but then they start to fade a little later.
Well, Larry Pearson finds himself now in 3rd spot in that number 16 car. He's right behind Rick Mast. And now he moves to the inside of Mast in turn number 4 and passes. Here comes Sterling Marlin right behind him, but Marlin and Pearson are battling for that 3rd position. Larry Pearson's finishes this year. He had a 6th place at the Richmond 400 on the short track, and a couple of other top 20 finishes at 14th and Rockingham. And here is Sterling Marlin taking over that spot as he shoved Larry Pearson to the high side.
I don't think Larry Pearson was expecting that. It surprised him almost, it looked like.
Meanwhile, it is still Greg Sachs in the Crisco Pontiac car number 88 that is leading the Valleydale back at Bristol International Raceway, where Greg Sachs leads the Valleydale 500. The number 88 Crisco car. Right behind him is Dale Earnhardt, but he is 10 laps behind due to a problem that they experienced a few laps ago. There are 13 cars on the lead lap, and the 3rd car there in your screen is the 33 car of Harry Gant, last week's winner at Darlington. He seems just to be sitting there waiting for his time.
I think he is, Bob. He's running a very good, smart race, not taking any unnecessary chances. But look at this 31 car of Jim Sauter blow around Rusty Wallace. That will move him into the 4th position. Jim Sauter has been working on the car himself the last couple of weeks. Charlie McCabe, who was the crew chief on that car, has left in the last couple of weeks, and Jim Sauter, who has a lot of experience at building and working on his own cars in the Midwest, has been working on the car, and by golly, he's hit the setup here today.
We talked about the Michael Waltrip car being the fastest on the racetrack a few laps ago. I believe that Sauter has the fastest car now. Here is Dale Earnhardt trying to unlap himself, but he cannot do it. Now he moves to the inside of Sachs, and indeed, Dale Earnhardt does get one lap back, and here comes Harry Gant to challenge for the lead. He moves to the inside of Sachs, and they touch. They both maintain control, however. Coming out of the corner, it's going to be Sachs that leads lap number 412. But Harry Gant is poised and ready to take over the top spot. He does. Here comes Sterling Marlin in 2nd position.
Marlin was pretty far behind those 2 cars. He has caught them now and has moved into 2nd position as Greg Sachs drops back to 3rd.
If I was the crew chief on that car of Greg Sachs, I'd be worried about the tires going away. You know, what we saw earlier was the right rear blistering on it after it's almost a replay of what we saw about 20 laps ago. Greg Sachs' right rear tire must be giving up again.
Now here is the replay of how Harry Gant moved to the inside of Greg and took away the lead.
Well, they got together a little bit going into turn 3. You can see the right front of Gant's car get on the, just touching Greg Sachs' car. Both of them stayed under control, and of course he made the pass. And here, Sterling Marlin has blown around here again.
So Sterling Marlin now takes over the top spot.
Now he's another of the drivers that is on Hoosier tires, and right now they're certainly working for him.
Never a Winston Cup win for Sterling Marlin, looking for #1 today. But I'll tell you, he has run consistently all year long, and we'll replay how he got the lead from Harry Gant.
Well, he comes off the turn, dips down on the inside, had a better run coming off the turn than Gant did have, and just blew right on past him.
So it is Marlin now that is leading the race. I really don't understand why Harry would, after trying so hard to get the lead, and then Sterling Marlin got it from him.
Well, he didn't fight it too much. Gant didn't fight Marlin too much. Maybe he's still just sort of sitting there riding at this moment. There's still more than 80 laps to go, and he still has him in his sights, so who knows? Of course, Marlin runs this racetrack very, very well.
Now we're seeing a battle for third position as Jim Sauter in the 31 car is challenging Greg Sachs. Sauter, just an unbelievable run. Benny Parsons, you're down there in the 31 car area. This guy's had a great run this afternoon.
Bob Jenkins, I tell you, it is absolutely wonderful to see this pit crew. Every time he goes by, they wave, they jump up, they scream, they clap their hands. Add up, baby Jim. They are excited.
And well, they should be, because he now is in a position to take over third from Greg Sachs.
What a boost it would be for this team if he continues to run this way, or even possibly win the race. He gets a little loose coming off the turn there, but they're looking for sponsorship for that car. Bob Clark has underwritten the Bills for several years. He's built a good team over in Crossville, Tennessee. I visited his shops about 2 months ago and was very impressed with the type of facilities they have. They said if we can just get us a good sponsor, said we're ready to challenge the guys that are running up front. Well, they're challenging them without that sponsorship. Here, Sterling Marlin slowing down on the inside. He's coming into the pits, and Harry Gant is taking back over the lead.
We have a crash, meanwhile, as Phil Parsons has once again tasted the cement wall here at Bristol, this time nipping it coming out of corner #2. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Unscheduled pit stop for Sterling Marlin in the Sunoco Oldsmobile. They apparently had a right side tire going down.
Well, tough break for him, Jerry. He went a lap down as the caution is now coming out.
Boy, just bad timing. Oh, and they didn't get the wheels on at all. He loses both. Hits one of them himself. The other one goes bounding down the racetrack. It's still bounding going down the backstretch. Well, they had apparently loosened the tires on the left side and sent him on his way without tightening them. But I was going to say it was a tough break for Sterling anyway. He came in, and just as he came in, the yellow flag dropped because of Phil Parsons' incident with the wall, and now Sterling Marlin sits helplessly. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
What happened to Sterling Marlin? They changed the right side tires, and apparently they came around to change the left side tires, and the left rear tire changer got gas splashed in his eye. He couldn't see. He had the lugs already off the left rear tire, and the car took off. Sterling Marlin took off down pit road. They couldn't get him stopped, and the lugs completely off the left rear tire.
Yeah, you can see that left rear wobbling, Jerry, as he was coming out of the pits, and then as he was about to go back on the racetrack, it came off and spinning him around, and then the car bounded back. The tire hit him back again. Here's Rusty Wallace in the pits. In fact, just about everybody in as Wallace gets right side tires on the Kodiak Pontiac, and I'm sure they'll go around to the left side. They will change those tires. And here is the person that apparently got gas in his eye on the Sterling Marlin crew.
Boy, that's a tough deal. You know, they were committed to a 4-tire stop. Yellow comes out. They drop the jack, away he goes, trying to keep from going too many laps down.
And there you can see our doctor, Jerry Punch, going over to see if he can lend some medical assistance after he reported to us what had happened. But it looks caution was for Phil Parsons hitting the wall in turn #2, but then Sterling Marlin came in for a 4-tire change and went out without the left side tires being fastened. So they are dragging his car off the track. Meanwhile, Phil Parsons' car is already in the garage area, and they're looking it over to see if he can get back in the race. But boy, look at the battle scars on that car. There is Marlin's positioned at the bottom of turn #2. Now, when he was in for the pit stop, he went off prematurely, took off out of the pits prematurely, and the the tire changer got splashed in the face. There it is, getting splashed in the face with some gasoline. That's Gene Beehart that experienced this gas being splashed in his face. And now watch what happens when Sterling pulls onto the racetrack, gets into the banking. Those left tires just roll off the race car.
Both of them. Boy, that is an embarrassing situation. Let's go back to Jerry Punch.
Well, apparently miscommunications here in the Sunoco pits, and Gene Dehart is the fellow who will suffer from it. They've taken the rights. They've taken him over to the infield care center there to get the eyes irrigated out. Annie Schrader, who is Ken Schrader's wife, who's also a registered nurse, happened to be standing behind the pits, and we pointed Gene over to her, and she walked him up to the infield care center to get that eye irrigated out. He'll be okay. The eye's burning a little bit irritated, but it could have been a lot more serious than that. But the trouble for them in the car now is that the car is coming down on the hook. Gentlemen?
All right, thank you, Jerry. Let's take a look at a pit stop summary here from this 17th tying record number of caution flags, 17 here this afternoon. And our pit stop summary shows that Gant went in first and came out in 9th position. He lost 8 spots. Greg Sachs moved up 1 from 2nd to 1st. Jim Sauter was in 4th and out in 6th. He lost 2. And Jeff Bodine really gained as he came into the pits in 6th position and came out in 2nd. Let's go down to Benny Parsons, who's in the Jim Sauter pit.
I'm with Bob Clark, the owner of the car, and now the crew chief, right, Bob?
I guess. I'm the only one that's doing it.
It's a great run for you today.
Well, we've had everything possible break in the pits today, but the car's working great. I guess I'd rather have that. Jimmy's doing a heck of a job.
He is doing a great job, but this is his kind of racetrack, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, he's an ASA short tracker from way back.
He's out of the mold of Dick Trickle and rest stop. You guys been getting excited. Can you pull this thing off?
Oh, hey, I think we're in good shape. If it stays green the rest of the way, we're ready.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
430 laps will be complete when they come down to catch the green flag. Here it is. The leader is Greg Sachs in car number 88. Bodine is 2nd. Bill Elliott 3rd. The 84th Dick Trickle is in 4th position, and in 5th is Mark Martin. On the racetrack, though, it is the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt, who is ahead of the leader, again trying to get one of his laps back.
He has made up several laps since he lost all of those laps with the problem that he had. He has certainly been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and Sterling Marlin comes back out now after getting his car finally back to the pits and getting service on it. Here's Michael Waltrip as we see him trying to move on the outside of Rick Mast.
The accelerator. Here's Bill Elliott in number 9, moving to the inside of Rick Mast as Elliott runs in 3rd.
Boy, that 30 car's been running good. It didn't run real good that last segment of the race, but it looks like he's taken off again like he was earlier. He's pulling away from Bill Elliott there and gaining on Jeff Bodine up ahead of him.
I think he's just 1 lap down, so he should be running about 13th position. 12 cars still in the lead lap. Unbelievable here at Bristol after 434 laps.
It's been a record-setting day. 32 lead changes among 16 drivers and a record-tying number of caution periods for a Winston Cup race at any racetrack. 93 laps have been run under the caution, almost a 5th of the race, and we are still about 65 laps away from the end.
I bet you if there was anybody keeping records on laps made up during the race, we'd go set one here today also, because I'd say there's probably about 25 laps that have been made up under these caution periods we've had.
Here's the number 27 car, also the number 6 of Mark Martin. First of all, that's Neil Bonnet there at number 21. 6 of Mark Martin, the 31 of Jim Sauter. Then comes Rusty Wallace, Larry Pearson, and the 33 car of Harry Gant. There goes Mark Martin looking to the inside of Neil Bonnet. Let's see a little sideways there coming off the corner, but he successfully passes. Here comes Jim Sauter and Rusty Wallace and Larry Pearson.
As Neil Bonnet a lap down, here comes Harry Gant around. Ricky Rudd, boy, once you get that outside groove, that freight train just comes on by. And Michael Waltrip up there trying to get around Jeff Bodine. They got tangled as they came off of turn 2. We see him now that Michael is behind Jeff Bodine, but he got a nose up alongside of him as he came off of turn 2, but they touched a little bit. Michael had to get back out of the throttle. And now he's going to try it on the inside once again, but not room enough that time.
What a run for Michael Waltrip. You got to be pulling for him. He's that close to getting back into the lead lap. And look at here, Harry Gant going back around Larry Pearson again.
And that means that Harry Gant now moves into 8th position. Larry Pearson back to 9th. So last week's winner has got some making up to do. He's run a strong race all day, though. There's the 31 and the 27 running 6th and 7th, Sauter and Rusty Wallace.
What do you guys think? Is there any car out here without body damage? I think everybody's been bumped a little bit or bumped around a little bit.
The battle scars of Bristol are definitely showing. Now here's Greg Sachs, but he is being pressured by Jeff Bodine in car number 5. The freight train is definitely forming, and Bill Elliott in car number 9 is also there in 3rd spot.
Yeah, he's caught up to them. Now Michael Waltrip, he's just looking for a place to go. He wants to get back around them. I think he has the speed and the power if he could just get an opportunity to move around them to get back in the lead lap.
Well, that car of Greg Sachs really jumps out on the restarts, but then he starts slowing down just a little bit, or else the other guys pick up a little bit and start gaining on him. We've seen it over and over again.
Greg Sachs looking for his 2nd Winston Cup win of his career. His first Winston Cup win was at the Firecracker 400 a few years ago. Crew chief Gary Nelson. Remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that well. That was a big day for us. I know Greg Sachs is driving today like he was down there in Daytona. Really aggressive. You can tell he's got a lot of determination. He's putting his foot to the floor and really driving the car.
Jeff Bodine in 2nd position. Both Sachs and Jeff Bodine are veterans of the modified tour. Here's Jim Sauter moving around the number 6 car of Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace also tries to pass Mark, and he does. Here comes Harry Gant.
But he can't make the pass that time, but maybe he will now. He tries to pull on the inside. Martin's car goes a little high. Gant gets the nose up along, now completely around, and there he goes.
Once you get that nose underneath somebody and you're an equal car, you can pretty much move right around because of the crew.
Well, you can tell Harry Gant's really driving a smart race, though. He's led a lot of laps, and his car's capable, but he just kind of rides and waits for his turn.
I was going to mention that Sachs and Bodine, 1st and 2nd here, are veterans of the Nascar Modified Tour, the Northeast Modifieds, and we'll be seeing them on ESPN in a couple of weeks at Martinsville, one of the first times that we will televise a tour race. Now, the number 30 car of Michael Waltrip is just all over Jeff, but there's another instance.
Yeah, he's has bumped him several times, and Jeff is having to drive defensively as well as offensively. He's trying to move around Greg Sachs, but he's trying to keep Michael Waltrip behind him. Now look at the 30 car come in here this time, taps him on the left rear there, gets a little bit out of shape, and you can imagine that Jeff Bodine running in 2nd place trying to take the lead is getting a little bit frustrated there, but Michael Waltrip has a car that's probably faster than either one of those in front of him. He just wants to get him right back. That's all he wants.
Well, that car of Greg Sachs has gotten real wide here recently. It's really stacked up the traffic behind him, and everybody's getting a little anxious. We'll have to watch and see. It's going to be interesting the next 4 or 5 laps right here.
50 laps to go. The leader is Greg Sachs. 2nd is Jeff Bodine. Now, Bill, beginning to work on Michael Waltrip. Remember, Waltrip is not on the lead lap. The number 9 car of Bill Elliott is a race to the pits. Jeff Bodine ducks his car in. So does Michael Waltrip and Rusty Wallace. Here's Jerry Punch in the Bodine pit.
Jeff Bodine coming in to get 4 fresh Hoosier tires. They work on the right side of the car. Waddell Wilson runs the Levi Garrett crew. The right side rubbers on. And Bill Elliott pulling it around Bodine. They will come around and get the left side tires on the Jeff Bodine pits. Let's go to the back pits and Benny Parsons. Benny?
I'm in the Greg Sachs pit. They're changing the right side. The left lug nuts are coming off. The right side is down. The jack comes around. And the left side going up. And these guys are hustling. This means victory or not. They pick up the wrench. They grab it. The left side. And Jerry punches the Bill Elliott pit.
Bill Elliott goes back down pit road and got a 4-tire change. They put 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on that car. He is now down and away, but he had come down pit road because he had drifted up very high. But when the pace car didn't pick up the field, he had to go scooting back out on the racetrack to try to keep from losing a lap here in the pits.
That is indeed what happened. Now, the reason we are under caution is because Harry Gant spun coming off of corner number 2. Did a half spin, as a matter of fact. It created a caution, but no damage to Harry. Here's how it occurred.
Well, Bill Elliott, something had happened. He had gone high on the track. Harry tried to turn left and get down under him, but Larry Pearson was there, and so Harry just spun it around. He didn't hit anything, so he has caught up to the field. He's back in the pack. Everybody has on fresh tires now, so we're ready to go racing again, and Rusty Wallace up front. Here we can see Bill Elliott going high. Gant tried to cut down under him to keep from hitting him, and it just simply, the back end got out from under him.
Well, all right. What a break, tough break for Greg Sachs. Every caution that's up to this point, Greg Sachs pits on the backstretch, comes out as the leader. This time the pace car was late coming out. Sachs had to make an extra lap, and he lost the lead.
The green flag is back out, and the leader of the race is Rusty Wallace. Second belongs to Jeff Bodine and Darrell Waltrip, the joker from our tees, who said he was going to be in there challenging the dynamic duo, is in third. Here we are once again in Michael Waltrip's car as he's behind Sterling Marlin, trying near the inside of Sterling in turn number 1. Marlin gets caught on the outside. Bodine passing. So is Darrell Waltrip.
Of course, Marlin several laps down as a result of that miscommunications earlier. Rusty Wallace running on Goodyear tires. Jeff Bodine running on Hoosier tires. That's the first and second place cars.
Where has Darrell Waltrip been all day? I don't think we've talked about him at all, but here he finds himself in third spot as the lead is now held by Rusty Wallace.
He has just stayed there in the lead lap. Has never been a threat to go a lap down. Just sit there and run, but haven't seen much of him. Maybe we will the rest of the way. But it's about, what, 38 laps to go.
Darrell's been driving a smart race. His car probably is in the best shape as far as the body damage of any of them out there. If you look at it, just a couple tire marks on the passenger side door right there.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't look nearly as battle-scarred as some of the other cars out here. And you heard him say at the beginning of the show that he was going to be right there. And indeed he is. Darrell Waltrip, winner of this year's Daytona 500. As a matter of fact, he's won 2 races on the Winston Cup Tour this year. Despite the fact that he has won 2 races, he is 7th in the points, 130 behind Alan Kowicki when we went into today's race.
Rusty Wallace hasn't led for a while. Now he's out front pulling away a little bit. Maybe he's been holding back just a little bit also. 35 laps to go. He's got a pretty good lead there on Jeff Bodine, and with Mike Waltrip in the middle running as strong as he is, Jeff Bodine's got to race Mike Waltrip to catch the lead.
And here's some bumper tag being played by the 88 car of Greg Sachs and the 16 of Larry Pearson as they are fighting for 8th position. And also right there is Bill Elliott in number 9 and 31 of Jim Sauter now back in 11th position. And Harry Gant is in 12th spot. He is the final car now on the lead lap.
Of course, as Gary Nelson mentioned, those that are pitting on the backstretch, it worked to their disadvantage on this caution because the pace car didn't get out in front of them as early as they did in other caution periods. And so that's why we see Jim Sauter and Greg Sachs so far back. Harry Gant was back because he was the guy that brought out the caution and had to catch up to the field before he could come into the pits, but he's beginning to move now.
Scramble there in turn 3 was to pass below the 21 car of Neil Bonnet. Now we see Sauter putting some pressure on the 9 car of Elliott as 21 Neil Bonnet is running in 15th position. He is a lap down to the field.
Well, Jeff Bodine has caught up to Michael Waltrip trying to get around him. He had picked up a little bit of distance on Rusty Wallace, but now he has Michael Waltrip to deal with, but he's not going to deal with him long. He's going to move right on around him. So nothing but daylight between Jeff Bodine and Rusty Wallace. We'll see. He was about 1 second behind Rusty Wallace the last time around, so we'll see now that he's out of that traffic and he is able to run it down.
We have 30 laps to go in this race, and literally any one of about 6 cars can win this race. Rusty Wallace is showing the way right now with the number 5 car of Jeff Bodine being shown in second. There's the leader, Rusty Wallace. And he, remember, went into this race not feeling all that well. Yesterday, he went to his hotel room after suffering an inner ear infection. And today, he came to an appearance by the NASCAR Grand National Tour. Defending Grand National champion Richard Petty in his familiar number 43 gets the early jump at the start of the Southeastern 500. But Petty has his hands full fighting off the challenges of number 17 David Pearson and 71 Bobby Isaac. Missing in 68 are the 36-degree bank turns that can start multi-car pileups. Bobby Allison tries to get things rolling, but miraculously everyone else avoids him. Here's a new pit strategy: lose the wheel before coming into the pits. Just less work for the tire changer. A much younger Cale Yarborough, running for the Wood brothers, feels the bite of Bristol. Fortunately, the damage is minimal, and he's on his way again. As always at Bristol, it's wheel-to-wheel action as King Richard tries to chase down Pearson. Isaac also gets into the thick of the battle that would continue between the three warriors right down to the national title. Now, does this look familiar? King Richard riding the rim, something he still does to perfection some 20 years later. Pearson wins here at Bristol and goes on to capture the Grand National Championship over Isaac and Petty. And of course, Richard Petty was not in the field for today's Valleydale 500. We are under caution. In fact, we have had 2 cautions since you saw us last. Greg Sachs spun down in turn number 4, and now this incident, it involved Michael Waltrip in turn number 2.
He was running right in front of his brother, Darrell Waltrip, and spins to the outside of the track, almost where he spun earlier in the race. We'll look at it at another angle. Darrell is right behind him. Did he spin him? Did he hit him?
Ooh, I don't know.
I believe he did. I believe he touched him and spun him around and said, brother, I got to go. I'm fighting for the lead here.
The Joker's coming through.
That's right. And then after Michael spun, as they came down for the caution flag, the 16 of Larry Pearson got sideways in turn number 4. So we have had 20 caution periods during this race. And as I have said more times than once, a record number of caution periods during this race in all of Winston Cup racing. Look at this. We've only got 19 laps to go. And the lead is being held by Rusty Wallace, with Jeff Bodine second and Darrell Waltrip in third spot. They're checking over the track for any debris or oil that might be on it. So we'll be under caution for maybe a couple of more laps. There you can see the safety vehicle on the high side of turn number 3 as the pace car and the field passes underneath.
On each restart, Rusty Wallace has been able to get a good jump and has pulled out about a second or a little over ahead of Jeff Bodine. I expect Bodine will be a little bit more ready for it this time.
It's a tough thing for the crew chiefs late in the race. If your car's up front, you know you can run faster with new tires, especially like, say, if you were in the 5th place, 6th place, 7th place car. Maybe it would be a good idea to come in and get those tires with only 10 cars in the lead lap. Maybe somebody behind you will follow you in, and then you can come back out in 10th place and maybe be able to make it up.
For those of you joining ESPN in hopes of seeing tennis, we will have it right after the completion of this race, and we are only 18 laps from the finish, so it isn't going to be long. Once we go back to green, we'll have the tennis for you right after our live telecast of the Valleydale 500. Well, Bristol, Tennessee, one of 14 venues that we travel to during our coverage of Winston Cup races during the 1989 season. Let's take you beyond the gates of Bristol International Raceway to show you what else there is to see in this area. First of all, we're located in northeastern Tennessee near the Virginia line and companion cities Johnson City and Kingsport. Benny's Hat of the Week reflects one of the major industries.
Beyond the gates of Bristol International Raceway, we see the old log cabin, typical of this area 200 years ago. Something that's typical of this area right now is coal mines. And last week I told you I was going to wear a hat typical of the area. Doug Wagner of Pittsburgh sent me a coal miner's hat, a fireman's coal miner hat. Doug, thank you very much. And all you other people that sent hats, thank you. This hat will also be auctioned off at the Richmond County Hospice Celebrity Auction June the 3rd in Rockingham, North Carolina. So all you people in the Sandhills, go bid, will you?
Benny, the word serene seems to fit the area surrounding this track. The gentle rolling hills provide pasture for farmers and their cattle. South of the racetrack is the Boone Dam, yes, named for Daniel, that was built by the TVA in the late 50s to provide power and control flooding in the Tri-Cities. The lake itself is about 150 feet deep at its deepest point and provides recreation to the residents. Those rolling hills that I spoke of earlier, well, within sight of the grandstand spectators is a beautiful horse farm. The 1/2 mile racetrack is part of a larger racing complex that also includes the drag strip, built between 2 mountains. It's widely known as Thunder Valley. Now, if you would like to send a hat to Benny Parsons, the address is 112 Main Street in Ellerbe, North Carolina. The zip code is 28338. If your hat of the week could be chosen as the one that Benny wears on the air, in any case, we hope you're enjoying today's live coverage of the Valleydale 500 Winston Cup race from Bristol Raceway in eastern Tennessee. Today's Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality, always has, always will. By Budweiser Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Kawasaki, the Good Times Company. And by Purolator, exceptional protection for exceptional vehicles like yours. The green flag is back out, and there are 10 laps of racing left, and a real battle up front for the lead involves Rusty Wallace in number 27 and Jeff Bodine in number 5. 9 laps to go, running in third place, sitting behind these two. You can see the interval between second and third. That's Darrell Waltrip.
And Wallace's car has been a little bit loose the last couple of laps. Bodine has been trying to get around it, but Wallace trying to hold the inside of the racetrack, not giving Jeff any room to run down on the inside, as Jim Sauter has had a good run today, makes an unscheduled pit stop on the backstretch as we watch this battle for the lead.
Here comes Waltrip sneaking up on second place. Bodine going to make a 3-car battle for the lead here within the next few laps. We've completed 493, less than 7 laps to go.
Boy, Jeff's been in this position. Last year only it was Bill Elliott leading, Jeff second with just a few laps to go.
Rusty Wallace looking for win number 3 in the 1989 season. Can he protect his position and hold off the challenges of Bodine and Darrell Waltrip? We'll know in 5 more laps. Here's the completion of lap 495. And the number 6 and the number 84 car play little bumper tag last lap in turn 1. Dick Trickle and Mark Martin slugging it out, a couple of ASA veterans in Winston Cup racing, trading paint. Now, Waltrip on the back bumper of the Jeff Bodine car. Here's Darrell moving to the inside. He's going to take second from Jeff Bodine. Waltrip is going to the front. Now he has his sights set on the leader, Rusty Wallace, but does he have enough time? 497 laps completed. We've got 3 more to go, and Rusty Wallace is going to run into some slower traffic. He has Rick Mast and Terry Labonte ahead of him. He'll dispose of Rick Mast easily going down the backstretch. Now they move into turn number 3 and 4. Waltrip will pass on the high side of Rick Mast. And Terry Labonte will move to the inside, coming down the straightaway, and let the leaders go. Now there's quite a bit of separation between first and second as there are less than 2 laps to go now. Rusty Wallace stretching it out a little bit. Here comes Darrell Waltrip fighting back. They'll come down this time for the white lap. Rusty Wallace leads with 1 more lap to go. Darrell Waltrip trying to wrestle the lead from him. He sneaks up on Rusty Wallace, but it appears as if Rusty may have enough to go the distance. Into turn number 3, here they come for the checkered flag. It's going to be Rusty Wallace winning the Valleydale 500. Darrell Waltrip finishes in second position. Jeff Bodine is going to hold on in third. Oh, it was a tight battle between Jeff Bodine and Dick Trickle and the 28 car of Davey Allison.
There was a photo finish between Allison and the 84 car. 28 might have had him. That would be Davey Allison. Might have had the 84 car of Dick Trickle by just inches as they came across the start-finish line.
Here is a replay of the finish and the scramble for that 3rd spot. Bodine in 5, Trickle high in 84, and Davey in 28.
We understand that the 5 car has a tire going flat, and here they come across the start-finish line. Bodine beat them back, but boy, that other battle for the 4th and 5th position, very, very close. We understand that at the moment that Davey Allison has been given the nod for the position.
Well, Bodine and Allison slugged it out last week for a finishing position, and they do the same thing here this weekend at Bristol. But Rusty Wallace has won his 3rd race of the 1989 season. He was the winner of the 1986 Valleydale 500 here in Bristol. He registered, in fact, his first Winston Cup win. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
Hey, Dodson, did you believe this is going to happen?
Well, we believe. We never give up. We always believe. You know, we had a little misfortune with Rusty getting sick. He was a little bit dizzy. It doesn't bother him. He's always a little dizzy. And wrecked the car yesterday trying to see how he did feel. And I told some guys last night, this team works off of adversity. And it doesn't bother us. We just keep digging and never give up. I got to thank Kodiak. Got to thank Goodyear. Goodyear tire was good enough we could stay out. The thing was consistent, and it won the race for us.
Barry, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Benny.
And we will be back to talk with Rusty Wallace in Victory Lane in just a minute. We'll do our Sears Die Hard Winner Circle interview, being brought to you by America's best-selling replacement battery, the Sears Die Hard. Jerry?
And believe me, this guy would not die hard at all. All weekend he's been sick. He's been fighting that flu and the inner ear infection. Congratulations, Rusty Wallace.
Well, thank you, Jerry. I just like to, first of all, I'd like to thank you. You helped me out a lot, and all the viewers watching. You know, I was a sick son of a gun last night, and Jerry gave me some medicine, got me going, and it sure got me up right for today, and I really like to thank him. I'd like to thank Kodiak, a Mobile One, AC Spark Plugs, Pontiac Motor Division, and Goodyear Tires. They come through for us, and everything was great.
Darrell Waltrip made it a tight one at the end.
Well, he did make it a tight one. My car wasn't exactly right, but it was close enough to win the race. And, you know, when I win races, it seems like that's the way it is. It's either real bad fast or a little bit off, but I'll take it. That's 3 wins out of the top 5. We're gunning for them. We want the championship.
One tough customer. What else can you say? The Kodiak Pontiac in Victory Lane, winning the Valleydale 500, coming back from adversity all weekend, Rusty Wallace. Bob?
All right, and quickly reviewing the top 10 finishers. Rusty Wallace wins. Waltrip second, Bodine third, Davey Allison fourth, and Dick Trickle in 5th position. 6 through 10 in the Valleydale 500. Martin, Sachs, Rudd, Elliott, and Harry Gant. Don't forget, we'll be live at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina next weekend for more Winston Cup racing. We hope you will be with us then. For now, for Ned Jarrett, Gary Nelson, Jerry Punch, and Benny Parsons, this is Bob Jenkins. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Now let's go to San Diego, California, and Cliff Drysdale.